Hello everyone, my name is Raven Elks, and today we are trying something a little different. Today we're going to try a new segment called Terror Tuesday, where I read your scary stories and create concept art around them. Let me start with my first story. It's called I Kill Wendigos for the United States Government. My name is Charlie Thatcher, and I kill monsters for the US government. Would you believe me if I said that the government is keeping things hidden from the US public? You might say, Charlie, how can you say something so crazy? And probably call me an idiot. I admit, it sounds crazy, but I assure you it's 100% true. It's kinda a long story, so get comfortable. I joined the army when I was 18, not to get medals, simply because I wanted to pay for college. I wanted to start a restaurant. As an alternative, I joined the army to pay for it. Truth is that I didn't want to kill anyone. But you don't always get what you want, do you? I wasn't exactly a super soldier during training, but I wasn't exactly King Lardass either. I did just enough not to get yelled at by the instructor as much. I didn't show off. I mainly kept to myself, but I did make some friends during basic training. Brady Beethoven and Freddie Monroe. Brady is a Canadian, all the way from Ontario. He moved down with his mom to get a better life. We have a lot in common, actually. Who would have guessed? Then there's Freddie, a good old boy from Texas who wanted to play hero. The guy is Scottish, for God's sake. Forgive me, I'm going on a tangent. Back to the main point. One day I was coming back from doing wind sprints and the instructor pulled me aside. He told me that I was going to be assigned to a special assignment wing. At first I thought a special assignment wing was just code for cleaning toilets. I thought the instructor was joking, but he isn't the type to joke around. And I have a guess that he doesn't like being called a liar. I took his word and followed him to the special assignment wing. The special assignment wing looked like an old hotel. I swear I thought the instructor just walked off base and wandered into a town. The building was nothing special to look at. A gray concrete shell. It was like a Stalinist housing block, devoid of life and humanity. He stopped in front of a gray building and turned around to face me. Just go through the front door and wait in the lobby. Now get out of my sight, he replied. I followed orders and entered the front door of the gray building. It was a lot colder than I expected. Like a lot colder. I was starting to shake even in my fatigues. Inside was a little waiting room with only one other person sitting inside, Freddie. He sat in front of me, twiddling his thumbs. Hey Scott, you stuck here too? I asked, sitting down 2 seats away from him. Hey Charlie. I don't know why I'm here. I came back from taking a piss and Sarge sent me here. What is this place anyway? Freddie asked in a thick Scottish accent. Beats me, the Sarge sent me here too. Are we in trouble? I asked. I don't know, but it's cold as hell, Freddie replied. We waited in silence while rocking in our chairs. The receptionist finally said something after ages of silence. Freddie Monroe? Freddie stood up and walked towards the little window. The receptionist spoke to Freddie in a voice too quiet to hear. Freddie then walked through the pair of double doors in the lobby, leaving me alone. I waited for about 10 minutes, just bored out of my mind. Finally, the receptionist called me up. Charlie Thatcher? Yeah, I replied. It says that you've been recommended here by the instructor Hamier. Is that correct? Yeah, I replied. The receptionist looked through her paperwork and continued. Okay, I need you to go through the double doors and enter the first room on the left. I agreed and went into the room. The hallway was short, only 4 rooms, but the rooms had some strange labels. Thunderbird experiment with Tony Stevenson. Lycanthropy experiment with Oscar Romero. Vampire extermination with Lindsay Blondie. Wendigo extermination with Henry Sanders. I thought this was some kind of joke. This seemed too good to be true. But if I left, they would have probably sent a hit squad on me or something. Regardless, I walked into the room that said Wendigo Extermination. The room looked like a regular classroom, except I was the only student. Have a seat, Mr. Thatcher, Mr. Sanders said. I sat down in the front row. Mr. Sanders cleared his throat. I am Mr. Sanders, and I will be your Wendigo Extermination teacher. Do we have any questions so far? He asked, with a slight Canadian accent. I raised my hand. I felt like I was back in middle school. Wendigos? Like the deer people that eat hikers? I asked. So you know a thing or two about them, Sanders asked. I mean, I read stories, but aren't they fake? I asked. To the uninformed public, they might seem fake, nothing more than a boogeyman story to scare kids. But I assure you, they are real, Sanders replied. Sanders suddenly reached into his desk and pulled something out. He threw it at me. It was massive. I looked down at the object. It was a deer head, except it wasn't a normal deer head. It was all wrong somehow. Its eyes were facing forward, meaning that it was a predator. Its teeth were sharp, really sharp. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Holy Moses, I yelled, throwing the head on the ground. Sanders laughed. Not so fake anymore, are they? What is that thing? I asked. A dead wendigo, obviously. I'll be honest with you, the U.S. is infested with these things. They're responsible for dozens of people going missing at national parks every year, Sanders replied. I don't know what to say, I replied. The Park Service is paid to keep quiet about Bambi over here so the general public doesn't panic. If you need to take a breath, take it now, Sanders said. I took a deep breath and relaxed myself. Sanders continued. Charlie, you have been chosen out of hundreds of candidates to be a part of this program. While the troops protect us overseas, you can protect us over here. But aren't wendigos unkillable? I asked. At first, we thought the same thing. We lost a lot of good men and women to those beasts. But we found their weakness, silver bullets. It turns out wendigos are similar to lycanthropes. They die from silver. We need you to kill them before they kill us, Sanders replied. I was at a loss for words. It's not like I could say no. I knew too much. I'll do it, I replied. Little did I know that me agreeing would be my worst mistake I ever made. For the next 7 weeks, I was taught how to dispatch a wendigo. I learned that these things are strong enough to kill a full-grown black bear in a fight, even a grizzly bear. Yet silver seemed to kill them. No other weapon can pierce their hide. I learned how to survive in the forest and how to track them. Graduation day, I said goodbye to Mr. Sanders and shipped off to Sacramento. My new boss was a fat man called Milo. He was religious, but not in a cool way, the kind of religious that makes you throw eggs at gay people. My first interaction with Milo went like this. You must be the exterminator. Yes, sir, Charlie Thatcher at your service, I said, offering my hand. Milo slapped it away from him like I was insulting him. Listen, Thatcher, we're not here to make friends. We're in a goddamn war here. I said, sorry, sir, I replied. Now look, a deer has been spotted near Lake Tahoe. I need you to kill it. I'll get right on it, sir, I said. I left the room upset. Who the hell does he think he is anyway? I flew over to Tahoe in a government plane. I arrived to the last place where the deer was spotted and equipped my MP5. The way you can spot a wendigo is by looking out for cat urine. They smell like cat urine, so by looking for the trail it will lead you to it. I caught a strong whiff of cat piss and followed it into the brush. I crept along the forest floor, leading deeper and deeper into the woods. In a clearing I saw a bipedal deer, hunched over eating a dead black bear. It had human hands, but covered in deer fur. It was skinny, incredibly skinny, where I could see its ribs. It was distracted by its meal, not noticing me at all. I steadied myself and squeezed the trigger. Hot silver stabbed into the beast's back, causing it to collapse. I walked over to the deer and finished it off with a shot to the head. Being so close to it made me realize how massive it was. At least 10 feet tall. Regardless, it was dead. So much for being unkillable. I brought my knife out and cut out its eyes. I was tasked with killing the deer and bringing back the eyes as evidence. I flew back to Sacramento and gave the eyes to Milo. He was pleasantly surprised. I didn't think you had it in you, Thatcher. Honestly, I thought you'd be its next snack, but you held your own. Milo then gave me a piece of paper. It looked like a check. It was from the United States Treasury. It was a check for $1 million, American, for the Wendigo. My eyes widened. I couldn't believe that I was getting all this money just for killing a deer man. I was speechless. Take some time to regroup and come back. I have another assignment for you. In this business, anything could happen. Take some time to regroup and come back. I have another assignment for you. In this business, anything could happen. There's still so much you don't know. Keep it up, Dixie. I didn't like being called Dixie. Sure, I have a noticeable southern drawl, but Dixie seemed insulting. I walked out of Milo's office, muttering to myself, "Call me Dixie, the Wendigo hunter."